I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Hello, hello, it's Colvino, and today I wanted to talk about Infinity Ward's next game. Now, Infinity Ward over the years have been a roller coaster. They've made two of the most iconic games in the franchise, and two of the most polarizing. They have the highest selling game in the series, and the lowest. They have their flaws, but overall, I love their games. I have many fond memories of each Modern Warfare that I look back on to this day with a smile. Sniping Zakhaev and raining fire from an AC-130 in COD 4, no Russian in Modern Warfare 2, witnessing the Eiffel Tower collapse in Modern Warfare 3, as well as the countless hours I put into each game's multiplayer. Even in Ghosts and Infinite Warfare, there are a lot of positives from their respective campaigns. I did really enjoy Ghost's emphasis on stealth, and Infinite Warfare's campaign is easily one of the more super underrated COD campaigns. Essentially, every IW game has moments that I'll never forget. Easy to say I'm looking forward to the next IW game. Basically, this is my wish list, and what I want and hope to see in the next game. So let's get to it. I'm one to side with the Modern Warfare trilogy over the Black Ops trilogy. Modern Warfare 1 to 3 have so many iconic moments in them that I can still recall to this day. I recently replayed each campaign for the purpose of this video to refresh my memory on the trilogy, and all of those incredible moments I remember were great to re-experience. So after playing these campaigns, as well as Ghosts and Infinite Warfares, my first wish for the campaign is this: having one. I said in an earlier video of mine regarding the release of Black Ops 4 that not having a campaign was a step in the right direction, and I couldn't have been more fucking wrong. I was sold on the fact by not having a campaign, we would instead be getting a multiplayer so filled with more content than usual that I thought having no campaign wouldn't affect me. Instead, we got 10 lackluster maps and 4 remakes that play horribly in Black Ops 4, and a bunch of dumb emotes, stickers, sprays, and other bullshit no one really cares about. Safe to say, me and others were severely disappointed. The Modern Warfare trilogy is known for its cinematic linear campaigns with great characters and great missions. Even Ghosts and Infinite Warfare have garnered a reputation for at least having good campaigns, so it's a no-brainer to have a campaign in Modern Warfare 4. I like to see a little bit of a change-up for it though. Even though I don't like the Black Ops campaigns as much because of a certain game, Black Ops 2's campaign was one of, if not the best in the series. Not only did it have an awesome story, it was a completely different and new experience. It had non-linear elements that allowed at least 2 more options to complete tasks, a branching storyline that affected the ending based on your choices, a loadout system that allowed you to customize your primary and secondary weapons and equipment, a leaderboard system that ranked you against friends and gave an incentive to replay missions, so on and so forth. So, basically, I want to see that in Modern Warfare 4 with Infinity Ward's twist. They trended in the right direction with Infinite Warfare's campaign, adding a loadout system, and being able to choose what mission you wanted to do out of order, but I'd like to see more. Give players a reason not only to play the campaign once, but multiple times over. The more replayability we have with the game, the more we'll enjoy it. For me, it doesn't have to directly follow the trilogy. All I ask for is an engaging, fun story. Infinity Ward have done it multiple times before, they can certainly do it again.
Oi, Susie! That's how it's done.
Having a fun third mode to play is essential to the Call of Duty experience. In Infinity Ward's case, Spec Ops and Extinction did this the best. While IW Zombies isn't as bad as people make it out to be, I still think Zombies in Spaceland and Raven the Woodwards are really good maps. I can definitely understand the backlash. It's not Treyarch Zombies. Zombies is arguably Treyarch's best thing about their games. It's well designed and it's immersive. While Black Ops 4 may have taken a step back, you can't deny the impact the mode has had on the community and the game's reputation itself. That's why Infinity Ward needs their own thing that isn't zombies. And Spec Ops or Extinction, I believe, is the way to go. Personally, I love to see IW revisit Extinction. It's an overlooked gold mine in Ghost that was different from zombies, and an overall fresh breath of air, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough for most players, and IW has the opportunity to smooth out the creases in the original mode. I'd like to see it more of a character-driven mode, maybe like a second campaign even, with fully written characters with interesting backstories. Although I want it to be different from Treyarch Zombies. I love the lore and overall story that Treyarch created in its Zombies mode, but I understand where people come from when they say it's confusing and hard to follow. For this, they should make it more direct and easier to follow, with little bits of lore thrown in for more hardcore fans. I think ultimately this would improve the replay value of this mode. However, I'd be perfectly fine if they brought back Spec Ops. Spec Ops was, once again, an overlooked mode in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, but it served as good fun for those who played it. It offered a variety of different types of missions, ranging from stealth to vehicle assault. If Spec Ops is the way they go here, I'd like to see more variety, as well as more missions added later on in the game, kind of like how in Modern Warfare 3 they did it as DLC. Also, I think it would be cool if they made missions specifically tailored for 4 players to go along with the standard 2-player missions. It would be a pretty interesting dynamic, having the teamwork between 2 players translate to 4 players. It may be a stretch to ask for that, but it would be refreshing and fun to see. What can I say about the Modern Warfare Trilogy multiplayers that already haven't been said before? Call of Duty 4 revolutionized the FPS multiplayer at the time, and Modern Warfare 2 and 3 refined that success. Modern Warfare 2 has implemented itself into the pop culture of the late 2000s, with countless YouTube careers spawned as a direct result of the game, and memories from all players who enjoyed it. Obviously, they did have its problems, but the positives outweigh the negatives for the most part. Nowadays, Call of Duty is more criticized than ever before, and rightfully so. Black Ops 4 has some positives, but a lot of its issues seriously outweigh those positives. The community is more vocal and open than ever, and it's awesome to see. It's also disappointing to see how poorly Treyarch has been handling it this year. Infinity Ward needs to kill it this year, keeping the familiar good and still making it a refreshing experience. And this is how they can do it. I want to start with the maps. For me, the quality of the maps dictate how the game experience will be. That's why Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty 4 are each seen as some of the best games, and why Ghosts is widely panned. Infinity Ward needs to take risks with their maps, and they shouldn't be afraid to do so, since they have had success in the past doing so. Modern Warfare 4 needs a variety of small, medium, and large maps, with a combination of traditional 3-lane maps and some unique maps with power positions and multiple flank routes, basically having multiple ways to get around the map. I know when I say large maps, people get discouraged, but big maps in COD work when they're done correctly. Crossfire was a relatively big map and it's a fan favorite. Wasteland, Afghan, and Derail may be overshadowed by some of the other maps in the game, but ultimately are still good ones. Yes, I said Derail is a good map. Deal with it, bitches. Once again, IW shouldn't be afraid to experiment. Also, I've had enough of this 9 to 12 launch map bullshit. We used to get more maps on disc. Take Modern Warfare 2 for example, we got 16, and we honestly shouldn't expect anything less than 16. This wasn't an issue before, why should it be now? Also, it would be cool to have 2 to 4 throwback maps in the rotation. Some overlooked maps we haven't seen remade yet in the series, maybe, like Countdown, Quarry, Hard Hat, Mission, to name a few. These maps should be included with the 16 original maps, not part of the 16, so in total, we should have at least 18 to 20 launch maps. I know it seems like a lot, but with the state of the franchise, it couldn't hurt to go the extra mile. Next, I want to talk about the created class system. Created class has been a staple in the franchise for 10 plus years now. It's a simple system that works. Call of Duty 4 revolutionized the system, then it changed even more in Black Ops 2 with the Pick 10. Originally, I was a fan of the Pick 10 system. giving the players more customization over their class was a great choice. However, recently because of that change, one thing has become more and more obsolete. Perks. Remember perks? You know, those things that gave you special abilities. Well, honestly, in Black Ops 4, most of them make little to no impact on how you play, and they're utterly useless. Most people only run either 1 or 2 nowadays. How has it come to this? Simple. There's no pro perks. Pro perks were a thing between the days of Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Modern Warfare 3. And for me, created an extra challenge for the multiplayer. Pro perks were basically better versions of their original counterparts. And in order to unlock these, you had to complete challenges. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Black Ops 1's multiplayer, I can at least say the way they had pro perks done was a really fun challenge. And I can say proudly that getting TAC Mask Pro was one of the most annoying but fun challenges that I had to complete in that game. For this reason, we need pro perks to return. They incentivize more playtime and were an extra thing to complete and therefore should make a glorious return to the franchise. Let's talk weapons and attachments. I'll keep this one short because basically all I really want is a larger variety to choose from. They should be modernized, recognizable weapons with a mix of new and old because I'd love to see you return some old classics. Also, just because the game is modern doesn't mean Infinity Ward should be afraid to experiment just a little bit. Just don't let the weapons be ridiculous. Recent Call of Duty games have had an issue with weapon variety, or lack thereof rather, because, of course, they need them for supply drops. Dumb fucks. For comparison, Modern Warfare 2 had 24 different primaries to use and 19 different secondaries. Black Ops 4 has 27 primaries and secondaries combined. I'm not including supply drop weapons, I'm just talking about at launch, having shit at launch. It lacks variety and therefore you see the same weapons over and over again. Essentially, the more weapons at launch, the less repetitive the game feels. Same goes for attachments. It's better to have a variety of different scopes, under barrel, and barrel attachments to make customization deeper and more fun. Of course you have the basics like red dot, grip, suppressor, etc. But there should be more to choose from. I'd love to see the return of attachments like, the underbarrel shotgun, the heartbeat sensor maybe, and just more like, different fun things to use. I know they're not as popular as the ones I had mentioned beforehand. It would be fun to have them. If you want to play differently than you're used to, you can do it. I don't see any problem with that. Let's talk streaks. Kill streaks, point streaks, score streaks, whatever system a game had in place, you can't deny that kill streaks are what popularized the franchise. Rewarding players for going on longer kill streaks. At 11 kills without dying, congratulations, you get to shoot from a deadly chopper that patrols the map, or hop into an AC-130 and rain from above. Rack up enough score in Black Ops 2, you get to see every enemy on the map at all times with the VSAT. The best CODs are the ones that have the best streaks, so why is it a new trend to completely nerf the streaks nowadays? Black Ops 4 has decent streaks, but they're so easy to shoot down that it's like you're kind of just forced to run no streaks whatsoever, and it makes the game super fucking boring. When streaks underperform, game's performance underperforms. Which brings me to what Modern Warfare 2 should do. Bring back the powerful streaks. Players should be rewarded for going on streaks, with kill streaks that are worth earning. Also, I believe there should be a variety of streaks to choose from. Which brings me to my next point. They should bring back strike packages from Ghosts in Modern Warfare 3. There was 3 different to choose from: Assault, Support, and Specialist. Assault was your standard lethal streaks that would reset upon death. Support were the, supportive streaks that helped your team and didn't reset upon death. And most usually weren't lethal. Most of the time. Seriously, how did anyone think that through? And finally, every tryhard's favorite, the Specialist streak. Specialist allowed you to get extra perks every couple of kills and eventually a Specialist bonus, which gave you every perk in the game and make you feel like a literal super soldier. The best part about it is that you could have 3 different strike packages on 3 or more different classes, so you were able to have different streaks on multiple classes, which provided more variety in game. Also, I believe the point streak system from Modern Warfare 3 and Ghost should make a return. While kill streaks rewarded kills and score streaks reward mostly other things like taking objectives and whatnot. I believe point streaks is the perfect balance between these things because capturing an objective and getting a kill are each rewarded 1 point in point streaks. So I believe it's the best balance between the both. When it comes to the streaks themselves, I want, you guessed it, variety. Combination of old and new should be what Infinity Ward is looking for. Infinity Ward could go a lot of ways with it, but the way that I suggested should be the way they should do it.
They will remember us for this.
There's just a couple extra things I want to discuss, and the first thing is the hit detection and the servers. I don't really have a lot to say about the hit detection because despite the backlash that Ghost and Infinite Warfare got, the least you could say about the multiplayers is that the games felt very smooth. The hit detection is near perfect in these games, and Infinity Ward should do everything in their power to keep it that way. If they do so, they'll succeed. However, the same can't be said for the game's servers. Infinite Warfare had a real problem with its latency and players stopped playing because of it. Because of this, Modern Warfare 4 should run at 60 Hz with dedicated servers, no questions asked. Activision is $1 billion company, and Infinity Ward has garnered over $3 billion in revenue, so shelling out the extra cash for this shouldn't be any problem. It's time Activision breaks its own habits and actually does something that benefits the player. While we're on the subject of Activision, let's talk microtransactions. Unfortunately, I don't think these will be going away anytime soon, but at least Infinity Ward has been able to have a more fair system in place than Treyarch and Sledgehammer in my opinion. Modern Warfare 3 had the idea for Season Pass owners to release new content monthly instead of the bulk amount every couple of months, which was a pretty nice change. Ghosts not only had the best DLC maps in COD, but they also had personalization packs that you didn't have to buy if you didn't want to. But if you wanted to, you could have it. These personalization packs were strictly cosmetic only, and they ranged from about $1.99 to $3.99. And you would get camos, calling cards, and even iconic Modern Warfare characters such as Captain Price, Soap, Makarov, Zakhaev, and so on. Also, they had the different voiceover packs that were Snoop Dogg and R. Lee Ermey. Rest in peace, brother. To this day, I believe the Snoop Dogg voiceover pack was the best money I've ever spent.
Time to do some dirt. Your sentry gun is ready. Control your business. Hey, dog, MW4 Wishlist. Friendly Hind coming for him. Care package ready. Just get a signal.
And even Infinite Warfare, despite having to utilize supply drops, had a fair system in place, or at least a more fair system in place. The game would grant special deals and reward in-game performance, as well as having a currency system that allowed you to earn supply drops and get them free of charge, as well as being able to buy weapon variants straight up. In regards to map packs, they should be free. It's no excuse anymore. Separating your player base is a great way to kill your own game. If EA and DICE can do this for Battlefield 5, and EA, I don't even need to say anything about EA, y'all already fucking know how fucking scummy they are, but if they can do this, I see no reason why Activision and Infinity Ward can't do the same. More and more people are realizing that the Season Pass is essentially a waste of money right up front, and therefore more people aren't buying it. Hopefully, Activision can see through our eyes instead of their greedy own. Also, while on the subject of DLC, I want to see the end of console exclusivity. It's a long shot, but it just splits the community even more, and it's an unhealthy business decision. Power to the people, baby. Also, I really hope Infinity Ward doesn't do a battle royale. By the time this game comes out, the trend will most likely be dead, and there was already reports that they're not doing one. I just wanted to note it, just so I said it. To summarize, I just want a full, refreshing experience that mildly tugs the nostalgia strings. Give us loads of content, have replayability, lots of customization, and things that benefit the player. Also, make sure to support the shit out of the game as much as possible. Update the players on what's going on, be active on social media, and interact with players to make sure the game can be the best it can be. Because we may make fun of the series, but in the end, we just want to see it be great again, like it once was. I really want this franchise to be respected again, because despite what I may say, I love this franchise. I've had so many great memories from these games and built friendships off of playing this game with people I've met in real life and people I've met online. I owe a lot to this franchise. It's helped me through good times and bad, and I want to see it on top again. I want to thank everyone who watched this. I really appreciate it. I'll see y'all in the next one, and goodbye.